Good morning, everyone. My name is Bailey, and I'm partnered with Celina and Kori, and today we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about activities, timekeeping, and expenses in Clio Management. So the three things we will be talking to you guys about is billing rates, where you can create individual and precedent billing rates within your law firm, time and expense entries, where you can track expenses and time spent on client files and use pre-programmed billing rates to assist in the creation of invoices, as well as editing and deleting activities, where you can determine which activities or entries can be edited and deleted, and the process as well. So here's the scenario. You are a paralegal at the Unreal Law Office, and your responsible lawyer has just acquired a real estate client, Lawner McDavid, who is interested in purchasing a property within the Edmonton River Valley. The Unreal Law Office will be assisting McDavid in drafting and the real estate contract and closing the deal. So billing rates. You can use Clio Management to customize and manage your firm's billing rates for individual users as well as different activity categories. Every Clio user has a user-specific billing rate that they can set. This rate will be assigned to billable time entries that the user creates. Matters, clients, and activity categories can also be assigned billing rates. There are 5 different types of billing rates in Clio Management. The first is hourly user default rate, which is used when a user creates a time entry. The second is hourly activity rate, which is assigned to specific activity categories as a custom rate. The third is the hourly custom client rate, which is assigned directly to contacts upon their creation. The fourth is custom matter rates, which are assigned when creating or editing a matter. And the last category is flat rate activity category, which are non-hourly rates on activity categories. Within the Clio Management billing rate system, there is a hierarchy. Each tier in the hierarchy trumps the tiers below it. For example, if you are working on a custom matter for a client with its own billing rate, then the default user will be trumped along with the client rate and the hourly activity rate. If a custom matter client or activity category rate has been added, the user default billing rate will be trumped. At the top of Clio's hierarchy is the flat rate activity category, which overrides all other types of billing rates. There are a few benefits that come with Clio's billing rates, such as easily keeping track of different types of billing rates, apply billing rates to different activities and matters, set up personal default billing rates for all individual users, ensures accuracy when billing clients, and keeps billing rates and expenses organized. Here are a couple tips and tricks that you can use on Clio Management. The first is that you can change your default billing rate at any time in your profile. If you click on the Manage Categories button, this will allow users to create rates for specific categories of work, such as paperwork, which allows for accuracy in billing clients. And billing rates in the hierarchy will automatically override those below it in your expense and entry times, which takes for less manual entry. So there are some pros and cons. Some of the pros are it's very customizable, it's easily accessible, it's efficient for time management, keeps track of rates for certain activities, it's secure, and there's minimal manual entry. One of the only cons that I could think of was that it could potentially be changed without permission. For my activity, I'm going to have you all set your own default billing rate, which you can do after the presentation, and you can refer back to this slide, which is slide 10 for the instructions. So you'll go just to your Clio Management settings and then click on your profile, which is in the personal column. And then you'll click on personal performance, and then there'll be a line that says default billing rate, and you can set it to whatever you want. I'm going to pass it off to Celina now.
Okay, thank you, Bailey, for that lovely breakdown of how you can set billing rates and customizable billing rates in Clio. Hello everybody, my name is Celina, and I'm just going to be talking about how you can use Clio Manage to input time and expense entries. So using Clio, you can track expenses and time spent on client files and use pre-programmed billing rates, as Bailey showed you, to assist in the creation of your invoices. So there are a number of different methods that you can use to create a time entry in Clio Management, But the easiest way is to access the option on the Clio home screen. And to create a new time entry, you select the clock icon next to the active timer, then select new time entry. I can show you what that looks like directly on Clio. So if this is your Clio dashboard, you can click over here on this tiny time clock, and it will allow you to enter a new time entry. As you can see, there's a little bit of more details here, which I'm going to go over later. But for now, I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can create a new time entry from the dashboard and from the Activities tab. So as I mentioned, you can click this tiny little clock here, or you can go over to this lovely Create New icon, which you can click, and immediately time entry and expense entries appear at the very top. So that's just two ways that you can do that through the main dashboard of Clio, but there's another way in which when you go to Activities, you can select here at the top if you want to input a new time entry or a new expense entry. Using Clio for time and expense entries, it provides an accurate and efficient method for documenting and categorizing build time. You can track the exact amount of time spent on a specific activity. Billing amounts can be customized and assigned to time entries. Bailey just showed us how the billing rates can be customized for different staff members, and users can choose to assign time entries to a specific matter. So again, what does this look like in real time on Clio? So here I am back on the main dashboard, and if I wanted to create a new time entry, I would just go up here, and I would hit new time entry. If I wanted to track my hours in real time, I would hit this, and I would go and continue to work on the file. So once I wanted to input the amount of time, I would find a category for this time. So these are all examples, say, of paralegal or legal assistant activities. Reviewing timeline, meeting with the client, legal research, drafting a statement of claim. I'm going to select drafting, which is a $25 an hour billing rate, which is default. And I'm going to input, say it was I was drafting a real estate contract potentially for Lana McDavid, so I'm just going to input the matter here, Lana McDavid real estate purchase. I'm going to select the time entry as non-billable because my time as a paralegal or a legal assistant is not necessarily billable to the client but to the firm, and I'm not going to choose to show the entry on the bill. I might input a description of drafting or spent time drafting real estate contract. And that's just a simple way that you can track your time, and your lawyer can track your time. You can save that entry, and I will show you later how that shows up in the Activities tab. Now, the benefits for expense entries. All expense entries can be sorted immediately into different categories. Users can specify if they want the entry to appear on the client bill. Clio allows users to choose if the item is taxable or non-taxable. All entries require a specific date and user to be identified, which is very helpful and a very efficient method when it comes to bookkeeping. And expenses can directly be applied to the matter that they are relevant to. So I'm just going to go back to the Clio dashboard. And what would it look like if I wanted to input an expense entry? So again, I'm just going to go up here to this Create New icon. I'm going to select Expense Entry, and I'm going to select an expense category. As you can see, there's a number of different expenses: a courier fee, a medical report fee, photocopying, process server, but in the terms of our file, a real estate file, I programmed the land search expense. So I set a flat rate for a land title search of $10. Throughout the file, I might ask for 2 different land title searches. And as you can see, I set a quantity of 2, I set the rate of $10, and now the total amount is immediately brought up. It's going to be non-billable, but I am going to show this entry on the bill. Even though the firm may be paying for it, I do want the client to know that we did the searches. And then over here in tax, I'm going to select do not apply tax because the land title search is not taxable. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to input McDavid real estate purchase as the matter, and I'm going to input land title search as the description, so my lawyer knows immediately that I did the land title search. I'm going to save that entry, and you can see that it was successfully logged again. And I again will show you that a little bit later in the activities tab. And as we can see, I've gone over a number of these common uses of the activities already. So we can use the activities tab to utilize the clock feature to track billable hours in real time while working on a file. You can document and categorize the firm expenses. You can track billing hours using different rates depending on position or the type of task being worked on. As I showed you, there can be different rates set for meetings with clients, phone calls with clients, legal research, drafting documents, and different individuals can have different rates. So I can set my personal rate as a paralegal or as a legal assistant, and junior lawyers, senior lawyers, office administrative staff, they can all also program their own customized billing rate into Clio for easily tracking their time management. You can also assign billable time and expenses to specific matters. Here are a couple tips and tricks. As I mentioned, you can do custom billing rates. You can assign different hourly positions. Time and expense entries can be easily edited or deleted to ensure maximum accuracy, which Kori is going to show you in a little bit. You can program very specific categories for expenses, as we saw, easily allowing the users to accurately organize expenses in real time, which is very important for bookkeeping efficiency. You can set a target for billable hours to ensure the right amount of time is spent on a specific matter or specific tasks are completed before the end of the day on a specific matter, and all time and expense entries related to a specific matter can be viewed underneath the Matters tab, which I'm going to show you. And so here is our beautiful Clio dashboard once again. We are going to go and select Matters. All of the matters that are taken on by the Unreal Law Firm are listed here. I'm going to go up here to filter. I'm going to ask for the McDavid file. Click on it. And then as you can see, all of my expense entries and time entries are added here, where I created the expense entry for the land title search, where I updated the time entry that I spent time drafting on the real estate contract. And if I wanted to add an activity specifically to this matter right off of this page, I would select activities here on the very top. And again, here are all the previous activities that we may have inputted, and you can input new time entry or new expense entry directly from the matter page. Okay, so how do time and expense entries help client file management? So the activities function greatly streamlines the process of client file management, as time and expenses spent on a matter are easily and accurately tracked through Clio Manage, and all time expenses related to a matter can be viewed by another Clio user within the firm. So my lawyer can make sure that I'm on track, that I'm spending time where I need to be, that I'm completing all of the tasks that I have to do for that day on the matters that they instructed me to. And as I mentioned and showed you, the expenses and time entries can be inputted directly on the Clio page for any given matter, which saves a lot of time organizing maybe loose papers, loose files, and Clio makes this process very streamlined in a very accessible online platform. I feel like I've discussed in quite a bit of detail the pros of time and expense entries in Clio Manage. It's extremely easy. It really encourages efficiency in many different areas within the firm. They can be exceptionally accurate. They are very secure, and the platform itself and access to both time and expense entries are very accessible for anyone to input when they need to. The cons, maybe this platform is a little bit too accessible. I did speak with Ashley in terms of permissions and how many permissions we were granted as users of the Unreal Law Firm. And she mentioned that the permissions can be changed by the Clio administrator in the law firm. For example, very wide access to billing rates may become problematic. People setting their own billing rates might become problematic. Setting their own expense entries might become problematic. So it's definitely something to watch out for. New Clio users in the office may have to gain, as I was saying, gain the trust of office administrators before they are allowed access to the Clio billing process. There is another issue, which is potential fluctuation in labor cost. So say maybe your firm or individuals at your firm were maybe underrepresenting or overrepresenting the amount of time that they were spending on work, or they were underrepresenting or overrepresenting expenses. You might see a little bit of a fluctuation in labor cost or in expense amounts, just because of the increased accuracy that Clio can provide. So here are some brief assignment instructions. I'm going to ask you to create an expense entry similar to the way that you watched me input one. So from any access point, you start a new expense entry. From the expense category, select the land title search flat. Check the box to mark the entry as non-billable, as the firm will be paying for the search as a disbursement. Select do not apply tax because the search is not taxed. And then under the description, which I did not do here, but I did in the example, just enter land title search flat into the description bar and input McDavid into the matter bar here, and save the entry just at the bottom there. Thank you, everybody, and I'm just going to pass it on to Kori, and she's going to show you how to edit or delete the entries.
So for the next and final step, we're going to talk about editing activities easily and effectively in Clio. This includes which activities can be edited, deleted, and the process to do so. To start the first part of this assignment, please start the timer in the top right corner of the blue ribbon, and we will stop it at the end of the presentation. There is a screenshot on the slide here for an example of where you can find the timer. When editing entries as general information, and one of the most important things to note is that only unbilled activities can be modified. Once the entry has been billed on an approved invoice, the edit function is not available in Clio. You'll know which entries these apply to if they display an edit icon, such as in the screenshot on the slide. Once you're in the activity window, you can sort entries by time or by expense or by viewing all. In the screenshot, I am under the View All tab, so as you can see, both types of activities will show. They are unbilled, so the edit function is visible under the Actions tab here. There are additional filters you can apply to sift through the entries. Of course, there aren't many entries shown in the example, but within a firm there'll be quite a few. So you can go over to the right-hand side of the page, and if you select the filter button, a drop-down menu will appear here. You can easily sort through the unbilled entries from the invoice status section, or apply any other filters that you need. There are three primary areas to access activity editing.
So as we looked at previously, the first one will be from the main activities dashboard. When the activity can be edited, the edit button will show. By selecting it, you'll bring up the same detailed window as when you created the entry, and any area within can be modified. The second place to start edits is from the Manage Categories button on the top right hand side of the main activities page. When selected, the next screen will give you a choice of editing either time or expense categories. In the expense category, you're able to edit the name of the activity, permission groups for who is able to see the activity in the firm, and the tax rate. In the time section, you can set an activity as your default, modify the name, the billing method, permission groups, and if you want co-counsel to have visibility. The third area to edit will be from the Timekeeper tab in the blue ribbon. So here you can start a timer or stop a current one. Additionally, by clicking the clock icon in the banner, you can view all previous time logs from the day. So whether you have one or multiple entries, you will select the one that you want, and then you can edit from there. It will bring up the same editing window as previously seen in the last two examples, and you can adjust anything you need here. You'll have the option to save and create another, save and duplicate, or delete altogether. So similar to editing, only unbilled activities can be deleted. When the entry has been billed on an approved invoice, the function is not available. There are two ways to delete activities. So the first one, when you're on the main activities page, you can quickly delete an entry by selecting the drop-down arrow to the right of the edit button. Or you can delete the entry by opening the edit window entirely and selecting delete from there. So for a quick comparison between what can be edited on a time or expense activity, the main difference, of course, in editing functions is that the time entries are related to duration and the expense entries are related to quantity adjustments. There are several benefits to the editing and deleting functions, so a few of the main ones will be it increases the efficiency within the firm by allowing for quick and easy changes from anywhere you are on Clio. The capability to filter through and sort entries saves time and allows more time to be spent on other matters in the firm. It also improves accuracy within the firm by ensuring the document is free of errors, and it results in more organized billing and reporting. Lastly, by Clio only allowing users to modify and delete unbilled activities, these limitations help to eliminate discrepancies in client invoicing. For the last part of the assignment, we'll have you pause the timer you previously started by clicking the pause button. From here, your edit window will appear. Please attach the matter 00201-McDavid by inputting the matter number, which is going to be 00201, or by starting to type the last name, it will auto-populate the file. So save and close your entry once you finish that. By now, you should have both a time and expense entry logged in your activity dashboard. Please upload a screenshot of your activities page to show both entries. And the next slide, this one here, is going to be an example of what your screenshot should look like, showing both the time and the expense entry attached to the same matters. So here we have the expense, here we have the time, and then both matters are the same there. And that is it for activity timekeeping and expenses. Thank you for watching, and let us know if you have any questions.